These homemade sub rolls are perfection. You will never want store-bought again. With this recipe, I was going for a really fluffy roll with a slight chew to the crust, the perfect sub roll, and I think we nailed it. Starting with 1 cup of warm water and 1/2 cup of warm milk. I'm using both milk and water for balance. The milk adds softness and sweetness, while the water keeps them light and chewy like a true sub roll. Next, 1 tablespoon of yeast. I like to use a fast rise yeast. And 2 tablespoons of honey. Mix and let this sit for 5 to 10 minutes until it gets nice and frothy. Now that our yeast is frothy, I have 3 tablespoons of melted butter. This is warm to the touch, not hot, because you don't want to kill the yeast. I'm using 1½ teaspoons of salt just because my butter is salted, but if you have unsalted butter, you might want to bump up the salt. I'm going to start with 2 cups of bread flour. I'm using bread flour because I want that chewy exterior, but all-purpose flour will work as well. You just might not get that same result. And 1 tablespoon of non-fat dry milk powder. This will keep them nice and soft and fresher longer, but the non-fat milk powder is optional. And just mixing all of this to combine. I just grabbed a 1/3 cup of bread flour. I'm going to add 1/2. Once you get a shaggy dough that's going to be manageable, I'm going to take a little bit more of that flour and just sprinkle my mat. Just place the dough onto the mat. I'll sprinkle the top. And I'm just going to knead this for 5 to 8 minutes, and I'm going to incorporate the rest of this 1/3 cup of flour while I knead. While I'm kneading, I'm going to go ahead and get this bowl cleaned out with hot water. While kneading, I ended up adding about 1/4 cup more flour, so plan on using 3 1/4 cups to 3 1/2 cups of flour. You just want it to look like this. Just spreading some avocado oil into my bowl and adding my dough. The bowl's nice and hot from washing it with hot water, so it gives a nice little warm environment for the dough to rise. I'm going to cover this up and let it rest for an hour. Up to an hour and a half if you're not using a fast rise yeast. We've doubled. Flip it out onto your mat. I'm going to make 4 large sub rolls, but you can make this any size you want. Form a rectangle and then just roll. Tuck in the sides. And I kind of push the bottom down like this and then roll. And then I just roll it a couple times and then place it on parchment lined cookie sheet. I'm just covering these with saran wrap and then a clean towel, and I'll just let these rest for about 30-45 minutes. We just want them to puff up a little bit. I'm just making an egg wash, 1 egg with a splash of water. Taking a razor blade or a sharp knife, I'm just going to make a score right down the middle. I actually meant to brush with my egg wash first. Do your egg wash and then score down the middle. I'm going to bake these at 350 for about 20 minutes. If you make smaller sub rolls, they might not take as long. I just pulled these out. I let them bake for about 22 minutes. You just want that nice golden color on top. Optional, but I like to top with a little butter. And now we just wait for them to cool. They still need to cool, but I wanted to show you one up close. Now that these have cooled, let's cut into one. Perfect. Let me just make a little sandwich. I'm gonna do an Italian sub with this one. I got this really good salami, some provolone, some ham, so let's assemble. Lettuce with Italian dressing, chopped pepperoncinis. Take a piece of parchment paper, roll it up, and you have the best sub. Now let's try. You guys have to try this one. Let me know if you try it.